A very good morning to all my lovely students. I was just seeing lots and lots of new people. A very good morning, Pratiksha, Sandeep, Soni, Parth, Mahek, Jogesh, Shreyash, Aarti, Naveen, Harsh. So many of you. So thank you so much for getting up right in the morning to actually study costing. That means a lot. And yes, let's get started. As Naveen says, so today, as I told you, as per my methodology of teaching, I will share the study material of ICAI with you, right? To just turn the pages as to what are the important aspects, right? I have also given few questions which I think are very, very relevant. They are in the form of an MCQ. BOS will be sharing it with you. They must have already shared some few questions which I wanted to give a material question to you. So let's start. I'm sharing the screen with you. Okay. Okay, so this is the first chapter, which was Introduction to CMA, right? By which we actually discussed. There are a lot of things which ICAI has given. What is the methodology of handling such particular topics? If you can see, this is only and only your introduction to costing. Little bit of theory is given. The intention of ICAI is that you don't need to learn anything. Please just read in order to understand what costing is all about. So if you'll actually look at it, they're talking about terms like cost, costing, cost accounting, cost accountancy, management accounting. If you actually look at it, and this has been taken up from CMA, which is an international body, which is actually only for costing, and they're defining it. So you look at it, they say cost is a noun as well as a verb, right? So cost is nothing but when for a particular activity or for a particular product or for a particular object, right? For example, I want to do costing for this mobile. Now this is a cost object for which I want to do costing. I want to do costing, I'm taking up a class, so I want to do costing that what I should charge. So what is going to be my cost, right? Or if we are running a metro, so what should be the ticket price which I should charge from a customer, from the person who's going to use the services. So I need to identify the cost object or the product or the service for which we want to cost, right? So of course it's an activity and it's a noun because you're looking at the actual cost or the amount of expenditure we're doing it. And of course, costing happens to be a process. Cost accounting and cost accountancy. Cost accounting is a process which is just putting in all the expenses and putting it in the form of a report that, okay, these are the expenses. If I sell the product, this is the revenue I'm going to get. And cost accountancy, when I say, then this is not just limited to the process of finding out the cost. It is also applying the principles of cost accountancy in their life in order to take decisions. And management accounting is nothing but, it's the word management gets involved. So when you will be reading FM, you will understand that financial management always talks about increasing the wealth of the shareholder, right? So this is what they define. ICAI is trying to tell you the purpose of cost accounting. The reason why we are doing cost accounting is, as I said, I want to determine the selling price. For determining the selling price, I need to ascertain the cost. Why do I do that? Because I want to control cost and I want to reduce the cost. Now, these two terms are important for me. So please write it down. Please write it down. That these two terms are important for me, cost control and cost reduction. What is the difference between the two? Now, the difference between these two terms is when I say cost control, this is like a post-mortem technique. You can please keep on writing, right? It's like a post-mortem technique. Why? Because once I have done the process, once I've completed my costing activity, and then I start looking into it that, oh, this expenditure is more, this should not be done, this could have been avoided, right? So I'm calling it postmortem, because this is like after things are done, we actually look into the various activities which we did, and then finally trying to control the cost. That, okay, this was higher, this was not required. On the other hand, when I talk about cost reduction, it's a preventive process. This is a simpler language to understand. Why? It's a preventive process because, here you are primarily looking into each, cost which you have added up. So you can say you have looked into each of the series of expenditure which we did, and actually you try to see that, okay, was this expenditure required? Can I reduce on it? Can I do away with it? So you are trying to, before the cost incurs, you're actually trying to evaluate, analyze, and do away with it. So it's more like a preventive method. Are you understanding? So cost reduction and cost control, these are two terms which you should know, right? ICAI gives you, look at it, cost reduction is the achievement of real and permanent reduction in unit cost. You may not require to read everything. For example, you want to know the theory, then this one line, right? Then you can write down, no cost is termed as lowest, or every possibility of cost reduction is explored. To do cost reduction, following action is taken up. You can remember these two things, that you follow, you identify each activity, which activity is adding value, which activity is not adding value. Is it? Anyways, it doesn't come as a question in the exam. Right? Somebody was asking me, ma'am, from where do we study theory? Somebody was also asking me, ma'am, give us notes on theory. In my first class, I did not answer any of these questions. Today, I'm answering this question. Everything has been given to you by ICAI, right? Everything, any kind of theory which ICAI is actually asking or can ask, you will always find ICAI giving it in the form of a table or summarizing it or giving it. So please do not refer to any kind of notes of anybody. I repeat, do not refer to any kind of notes of anybody. Please stick to your ICAI material. You have everything. See, you use material which is not used by ICAI. And then you expect ICAI to give you marks in theory. I think that's wrong. That's wrong, an expectation from the student side, when ICAI has given you what they require, right? So look at it. Cost control. Now see, ICAI has written this as a preventive method and cost reduction as a corrective function. But when I wrote cost reduction was a preventive method. You know why? Now look at it. What I said was also right. Now that is essentially why I wrote, that you should understand. Now ICAI is calling cost controlling as a preventive method and cost reduction as a corrective method. While when I was trying to explain, or when I understand, I say cost reduction is a preventive method. Now the question is, am I wrong? The answer is no. I am absolutely right. Because when you say cost reduction, it's concerned with reducing costs on a long-term basis. We look into each and every activity. We look into the fact that whether this activity is required or not. So we are not only trying to look in the present, we are trying to look at the future. So according to me, before anything, the cost incurs, I look into it and I correct it, right? So it's like preventing a cost to be incurred. So I use prevention. I use the word prevention with the mindset that I want to prevent charging a cost which is not required, right? But look at it, what ICAI says. ICAI calls this as corrective. Now imagine you read my notes, or you read the notes of any XYZ classes, and you write that cost reduction is a preventive process, and without defining what you mean by preventive. how will you get marks? So this was a small example just to tell you that English can be interpreted in more than one manner depending on how you are using it. Now, preventive is a general word. Now, I use preventive with the intention of saying that it is a long-term process. I analyze all the costs. I look into the various expenses and the processes which are happening, and then I see to it that which cost is required. So I prevent that cost from happening. Right? Okay, anyways. So you can please remember 3 to 4 aspects, right? So cost control is past and present. This is present and future. Scope of accountancy, of course, this is only for your reading sake. I'm repeating, this is only for your reading sake. What do? ICAI is not asking you any question. Relationship of costing with management accounting. So costing and management, when you say costing, your only basic difference between these two is costing is only talking about numbers, right? Or you can say quantitative figures. But when I say management accounting, you have to take decisions, and you also have to consider various qualitative factors. Like, now what do you mean by that? For example, looking at the cost and looking at the revenue aspect, I may decide that, okay, I must be producing good X and I should not be doing good Y, because it is not a great idea to produce good X. It doesn't give me that much of revenue. Now that's cost accounting. But management accounting may differ. The management accounting may suggest that we have got certain set of customers who are very loyal to us and they want to buy goods only from us. So as a mark of goodwill, I should continue producing those goods for the purpose of my few loyal customers, right? So even though revenue generation is not very high, but it is actually increasing my goodwill, so I must produce that goods. So now this is management accounting. Management accounting is looking at qualitative features also, and cost accounting is purely talking about numbers and figures, right? So I was interested here. I think costing and finance are absolutely different fields. ICAI is not asking you any questions. This is only for your reading sake, right? So please understand why only an hour was kept by ICAI also. If you remember, my lectures were like introduction to CMA and marginal costing. Why did ICAI do that? Because ICAI wants you to read, and they expected us to only introduce certain important aspects from this particular area to you, which are important, which are going to hold for the rest of the paper, right? So please read it, right? Who are the users of cost and management accounting? Internally, of course, from employees to managers to operational staff, everybody is using it. And outside, the authorities, auditors, shareholders, everybody is using. ICAI is actually trying to define, right, what should be a good accounting system, right? Long time back, I think in 1995, 1996, ICAI used to ask a theory question of 8 marks as to what is the characteristic of a good accounting system. But in the past 15 years, 20 years, I have not seen ICAI asking such an easy question that, somebody who can just mug it and put it in the paper, because there's lots and lots of things which ICAI wants to ask from you. Of course, the characteristic of any accounting system, whether it is costing or anything, has to be that it should be authentic, it should be accurate. Of course, there should be some standards, some uniformity, so that you can compare two things. So that is why consistency should be there. Whatever system you adopt, it has to be simple, it has to be integrated, it should be flexible, right? So these are very important aspects. And when you're installing any system, you have to look into the business, you have to look at the product, you need to look at the hierarchy before you are actually installing any cost accounting system for the purpose of maintaining your records, right? Costing with use of technology has become very important part of all of us, right? So we need to understand that whatever product or whichever services we are in, the ERP system which we adopt, right, accounting system which we adopt, should be, taking care or integrate all my functional activities, right? So we are all moving up towards, paperless economy. So IT is taking up a huge role. Then somebody in the last class has asked me, what is a cost object? Right? I did not answer that question. Guys, I'm very clear. I read your questions and I answer all your questions upfront in the class itself. Certain things which I don't want to answer, but will answer. I remember, because if there is something which I'm going to tell you in my next session, I prefer telling that in the next session. So somebody would ask me about a cost object, though I did mention that we are doing costing for a good or a product or a service, right? So that's a cost object, right? So it could be anything. We may be doing costing for a product. It can be a glass or a cup or a mobile, a watch, a product. We can be doing it for a service. As I said, for the railways or maybe for a hospital. We may be doing it for a project. Like in Mumbai, there's a metro project happening. So now that's happening once in a lifetime. Every time we don't have metro projects. So the difference is between this product and project is product. I keep on manufacturing a tablet or a computer and keep on selling. But the project needs to be, valued and costed only once. You can be doing it for an activity like placing an order, for a process, right? For a department, right? So they're saying after cost object, they say you need to identify the units. Units means how do you measure it? So if it's an automobile industry, it's like how many cars are there, how many motor vehicles are there. So it depends upon the number. When you talk about cement bags, they say it depends upon per bag, so and so is the cost, or so many kgs. So basically, when you say cost unit, we're talking about the measuring unit, that how you are going to measure that particular cost object, right? For example, this cup in which I was taking my tea, the measuring unit would be number of teacups. If I talk about electricity, it has to be in 1 hour, how many units of electricity would be consumed, right? So you need to look into it, that what is the measuring unit which I need to use for the purpose of measuring my cost object. And they have given us industry-wise certain things, which is good. Cost driver, this word you will understand when you study cost, ABC costing, right? So there's a term here, but when you'll be studying ABC costing, the faculty will be telling you, right? I am not teaching you ABC costing. Whoever will teach you will tell you what a cost driver is. In simple English, cost driver means that why this expenditure is happening, right? For example, I give you swimming pool cleaning expenses. Swimming pool cleaning expenses depends upon how many times the swimming pool is being used, right? So if the swimming pool is being used every day, by lots of people, it is found that I need to clean the swimming pool every day. But if the pool is being used only like once in a week, maybe I may decide to clean the pool only once in a week. So what is the driver behind the cleaning expense of a swimming pool? It is the number of times the pool is being used. So cost driver means what is driving the cost? What is the reason behind that cost? Now comes responsibility center. Please take this. Please take this. This is important. Not from examination point of view. ICAI is not asking you. But you should know the meaning of these terms. Responsibility centers. Look at it. Responsibility center can be a cost center, revenue center, profit center, investment center. What do you mean by all this? Right. Now, when you say cost center, let's say a factory, right? Now, from the factory, I am not making sales. I'm only manufacturing. I'm saying imagine there are factories from where directly sales are happening. But say I'm into manufacture of a product. Let's say I'm manufacturing these t-shirts, right? So my factory, these t-shirts are being manufactured. Then these t-shirts are taken up to the showroom, and from there they are being sold. So they are being sold. Then that factory is a cost center. Why? Because there only and only expenses are accumulated, right? That's a cost center, right? And the showroom is actually a revenue center. Why? Because there from there we are actually selling the product. So that's a revenue center. But if, say, for example, I am in Mumbai, we say vada pav, right? So I'm making vada pav. So the place from where I'm making vada pav, from there only I'm selling it. So the cost center is also there. Revenue center is also there. I'm selling from there also. I'm getting revenue also, and I'm also incurring costs because I'm making vada pavs. That will be a profit center, right? And fourth is, let's say, there is a project which is being started up by Hirsch, and Hirsch, I'm not interested into anything of it. I've just invested 20% of my money in that particular project, and I am just interested that if I have invested 1 crore in it, I require a return on my capital employed of 15%. So I'm just interested in the return. So investment center means here you are only putting in your time, money, and energy for the purpose of getting the return from the capital which you're employed. You are not into identifying the costs or revenue. Cost center where costs are collected, right? As I gave you the example of a factory. Revenue from where sales are happening, and profit where both the things are happening. This is what ICAI tries to tell you. Now, how do you classify costs, right? If you remember, I was interested in this. You identify costs on the basis of nature. You do it by functions. You do it by variability, controllability, normality, by costs. So when you talk with respect to elements, so if you remember, by elements, I mean, when you will be studying cost sheet, then you make a cost sheet on the basis of, first thing which you put is material, then you put in labor, then you put in all the expenses. So you are making that sheet on the basis of what are the various elements which go up to build up a cost of a product, right? For example, this towel with me, right? What are the elements? The factory where this towel must have been made, the material is an element. The labor which was there to manufacture this. And of course, this towel, I can see only the material part. But of course, the factory where this must have been manufactured, the repair expenses of the machinery, the electricity, the people who have been involved, the salaries of those, all the expenses must have been happening. So technically speaking, any product will have 3 elements: material, labor, and expenses. So now material can be direct or indirect. Yes. Now in this cloth, this material is a direct material, but any other material in order to make this rough is a material which I can't see. Must be an indirect material. Employee, the person who's directly involved into production, is a direct employee. But the person who is not directly into production, say the person is into repair work, he comes to the factory for repairing a thing, or his person is only to load or unload things. Now he is not directly involved into production process. He's an indirect employee. Expenses, as we talked about material. Now, if you remember, why didn't I open up the material of ICAI yesterday in my last class? And I moved up to, after explaining you certain important things, I moved up to material costing. And there I told you about carriage inward. I told you about insurance or toll naka tax, which you need to incur before the goods come inside the factory. They are direct expenses. Yes. Without incurring these expenses, the product won't come inside the factory, raw material won't come inside the factory, or raw material we won't be able to convert those into final products. So any expenditure which I need to do without which the production will not happen is direct. Any expenditure which is not directly relating to production. For example, after the good is being produced, I need to sell that good. Now the good is already produced. Now I am incurring expenses, but they are for selling purposes. Now there is an accounts team, which is only the work of that accounts team is to record how much material was received, payments, raising an invoice. Now that team, I need to add up those expenses on my cost object, but those expenses are not direct because they have got nothing relating to production. I produce or I don't produce, I still have to pay the salary of my accountant. Right? Similarly, in the production also, the watchman at the factory, he's not directly involved into the production process. His work is only to stand at the factory. So he's at the factory, but he is a non-production operator. Now look at it. Everything which is not directly relating to production, they are called as overheads. Look at it, indirect material, indirect labor, and all expenses, indirect expenses, they're all termed as overheads. Anything which is directly going into production, like material or direct employee or direct expenses, they are known as prime cost. I hope I'm clear. Now, ICAI has tried to tell you that after this, they've said you can understand expenses on the basis of functions. So the expense can be a direct material, direct employee, direct expense, production, admin, selling. You will be able to appreciate it when you're doing a cost sheet, right? So when you'll be taught cost sheet, right? They'll be telling you that expenditure which happens at the factory is known as a production overhead. Expenditure which is happening at the administration, expenditure happening at the selling stage is known as selling overhead. Now, here you are not understanding or trying to understand expenditures or costing things, not with respect to direct or indirect. They are trying to understand with the function they perform, right? So look at it. Beautifully, ICAI have given you this diagram. When I'm trying to understand costs with respect to that, what are the elements of cost? Material, labor, and other expenses. Material can be direct, indirect. Labor can be direct, indirect. Expenses can be direct, indirect, right? So anything which is direct is known as production cost. Anything which is indirect is called as overheads. And those overheads, depending on their functions, production stage, admin stage, or selling stage. So this is, if you try to understand expenses on the basis of elements, this is it. If you're trying to understand expenses on the basis of functions, production cost, your selling cost, your admin cost, right? Now, if you want to understand it by variability, this is something which you need to know. So this is what we discussed last time. Fixed, variable, look at the graph. Whether you produce or not, you produce 0 units, still you incur 10,000. You produce your optimum 5,500 units, still you incur 10,000. This is all you have studied in my last class. Variable cost is with each unit you produce, you incur. It's a variable cost. Semi-variable cost is when some element is fixed and the rest of the element is variable. How do you divide or try to, if an expenditure is variable and fixed, how do you divide it? You can divide it on the basis of graphical method. Now look at it. Graphically, if somebody gives this graph, I know from year to year this much is fixed. And after this, that is after this red line, this total cost, so total cost minus fixed cost will give me variable cost. Now variable cost divided by number of units, I'll get per unit cost. I can divide it by high and low method. You remember? High and low method, which I told you in the last class. So if I give you, you produce 100 units and your total expense is 1,000. And if I say you produce 200 units and your expense happens to be 1,400. Now high and low method means this is the low point, this is the high point. The difference between these 2 points is 100 units. Now all of us know that variable cost varies with units you produce. That means from 100, if I produce 1 more unit or 2 more units or 100 more units, what is the expense which I incur? So what is the difference in the expense? 400. That means variable cost per unit will be how much? 400 divided by 100, 4 per unit. Now, once I know that the variable cost is 4 per unit, I can actually divide. If total cost is 1000, variable cost is how much? 4 into 100, 400. That means my total fixed cost should be 600. Let's check it out if I'm doing 200 units. If you do 200 units, your variable cost is what? 800. Your fixed cost should be 600. So your total cost remains as 1400. Yes? Yeah? Okay. This is it. Now, analytical method, looking at the graph, looking at the things, you can do it. Comparison of level of activities, same as high and low. Only thing is we'll be comparing level of activities. Least square method is like by applying the equation. So it is going to be y is equal to a plus bx. Talking about it, look at it. Guys, just give me okay. Okay. Now, so I share the screen again. So look at there ghanti baje ja rahi thi. There's nobody. Now, so I'm live. I'm live. Can I continue? Yeah. Okay. So look at it on the basis of graph. Look at it. This is fixed cost. This is the total cost. So looking at the graph, you can actually identify how much is fixed and how much is variable. High and low method, as I told you, you take up the highest volume, you take up the lowest volume, you take up the difference in the cost, and you can actually find out how much is your variable cost, right? Like in this example, they said your 60,000, for 60,000 volume, the difference in the cost is 12,000. That means for a sales volume of 60,000, variable cost is going to be 12,000. That means variable part happens to be 20% and the balance is fixed cost. Analytical method, look at it. They say last month, if the total semi-variable expenses were 3,000, the degree of variability is assumed to be 70%, right? Then variable cost is 70, right? Then the balance is going to be fixed cost. Now, this is something which we don't apply. This is something which they have written, analytical method. This is real life may you apply, but as far as exam questions are concerned, we don't do it. In the exam question, we are only doing this high and low method, or we are given units. We need to find out the difference, right? This we had actually talked about. Now look at it. This is a common formula which is being used. You can write it as y is equal to a plus bx, or instead of bx, ICAI prefers writing y is equal to mx plus c. Now here y means total cost, a means fixed cost, b means your number of units, and x means variable cost per unit. Yes or no? So just applying things in this particular formula, you'll be able to get the answer, right? For example, somebody tells you total cost is 1,500 and you do not know the fixed cost, but they say number of units is 500 and variable cost per unit is 1. You can just apply it. So that means a plus 500 is equal to 1,500. So what is a? A is 1,000. Now, what is this A? This is fixed cost, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is you can find out or you can segregate fixed and variable on any basis, depending on how information is given to you. Now look at it. Here, capacity was given to me, volume of how much of labor hours which have been put in. So you can apply, this is a general thing. You can apply this anywhere, right? So they are just writing it down that 1200 is the total cost. This is for how many labor hours? Is for 150 labor hours. You do not even know the variable cost. So you just put in M. You don't even know the fixed cost. You just put in C. But you've got two equations, yes or no? Right? Now, can we solve this equation? Yes. All of us know how to solve a simultaneous equation. Now, if I solve this, I just change the sign. C gets cancelled. This would be 50M and this would be 75. Yes or no? So 75 is equal to 50M. So M will be how much? 75 divided by 50. So you will get out with M is equal to 1.5. Now, once you've got out with your M, of course, you can find out your C. So if you have been given two equations, nothing else given, you can do it by a linear equation. Okay. Costs you can understand with respect to controllability and non-controllability. Expenses which are not in my control, right? Which is, I can't do anything about it, right? For example, if I have to pay the rent, I have to pay whether I produce or not. You call it as a fixed cost also, but I also say this is not being influenced by it. So this is an uncontrollable cost. Controllable cost could be, I can look into the waste, I can look into the fact that, okay, generally the waste should be 5% and things are not being done properly. I can actually control it. I can control that expenditure from getting incurred, right? Then that's known as a controllable cost, right? When you talk with respect to normality, right? Then every expenditure which I have to incur for the purpose of doing the production is normal. But something which is not required and still it was incurred, for example, I accept that if I produce, okay, I accept that if I produce, there will be a wastage of 100 units. So if I produce 10,000 units, right, I know I'll be producing only 9,900 units. I accept this scrap. I'm accepting it, right? This is normal for me. Then how will I do costing? Then costing would be, see, if 10,000 units, 1 lakh rupees is incurred, then for the purpose of costing, I'll divide it by 9,900. By doing this, what is going to happen? I am accepting that 100 units will not be produced when I'm trying to produce 10,000 units. Then actually the cost per unit will automatically rise. That means that normal expenditure would automatically become a cost of the good units. Can you see that? If I would have divided it by 10,000, the cost per unit would have been 10. But if I divide it by 9,900, it will be some 10 point something. That means the cost of those 100 units, which are going to be spoiled, and I know this is going to be there. It's already taken up or absorbed in the good 9,900 units which are going to be produced. So this is normal. But if you know, I produce, I accept that 100 units should be lost. If I accept that only 100 units should be lost, but loss was of 200 units. Now, guys, I won't divide my 1 lakh expenditure with 9,800 because I was ready to accept only 100 units per loss. I was not ready to accept that loss of next 100, which is so that's known as abnormal, right? So I will have to calculate the cost of it, and I'll have to treat this as a expenditure and put it into my costing account. Cost which I use for managerial decision making. when you do cost sheet, you'll be taught about predetermining a cost. You'll be taught about what is the standard cost, right? So here, reading theory here doesn't make a difference. Marginal costing, I will only be teaching you. So I'll be telling you what you mean by marginal costing. Estimation of cost means you're sitting before you're trying to estimate what's going to happen. Differential means if I do so and so, this is going to be the expense. If I do so and so, this is going to be the cost. All this you're going to understand when you'll be studying marginal costing. Imputed costs are notional costs. Like I'm the owner of a business. I put my time, I put my capital. Now, technically, if I would have taken up loan, then there would have been an interest, and that would have been a cost. But neither my time, I'm not getting any wages or salaries. Neither my capital is getting any interest. No, but then technically that's also cost, right? So that's a cost which is notional. Why it is notional? Because actually you're not paying anything to the owner. I being an owner, I'm working in my organization, and I'm not being given any salary. I'm just getting the profits. But if in my place somebody else would have employed, you would have paid that person's salary, right? So imputed costs are known as notional costs. I think capitalized cost, all of us understand something which is an asset, which you capitalize as an asset. Product costs are costs which are relating to your production or opportunity costs. Again, you will understand when I'll be teaching you marginal costing. It's an economics term. It's like if I am, for example, if instead of taking up a YouTube lecture here, right, I am taking up some other class, right? Now, if in that some other class, let's say I'm earning 50,000 rupees, right? And by taking up this YouTube lecture, let's say I'm earning 20,000 rupees, right? Then in that situation, this 20,000 rupees, I'm losing because I'm accepting that other class, right? In that other class, I am getting 50,000, but this 20,000 I'm losing. I went in for that option because that option gave me more money. This option gave me lesser money, right? So actually what I'm getting from that class is 50 minus 20. I hope you understand. So the opportunity cost of accepting the other decision is actually a cost that's known as opportunity cost. This we've done it in economics. Right? Out of pocket expenses. There are any expenses which we actually, a portion of total cost, which is actually involving a cash outflow, right? This, when we'll be studying marginal costing, we'll be understanding it better. Again, shutdown costs, you'll be understanding it when we'll be doing marginal costing. Some costs are historical costs, which are done, like there is no point. So when we'll be doing relevant costing in CFR, you'll understand what's a sunk cost, something which is incurred, right? So it's historical. Absolute cost, talking of any cost in totality, discretionary costs, right? They're discretionary. That they, for example, when you're doing advertisement, you do not know how much advertisement expenditure you're going to do, then how much sales will increase. Now that's the relationship of the expenditure with the output cannot be linked, cannot be directly established. So that's a discretionary expense. Period costs, all of us understand, engineered, explicit cost, implicit cost. Methods of costing. Yes, somebody was asking me again this question again and again. What are the methods of costing? But methods of costing only you will be studying as we will proceed in our studies, right? When you will be doing cost sheet, the teacher will be telling you this is single output costing. If you produce goods in batch, it will be known as a batch costing. If the good does not get produced in a single process, you require 2 or 3 processes, it will be a process costing, right? So different kinds of costing depends upon how that cost, the product which you're producing is supposed to be valued, because the product, the methodology of that product or that object will come into existence on the happening, or it is It's going to happen like that. For example, when you say job costing, it's customized, it's tailor-made. Right? The kind of costing which I use will be, if it's a tailor-made product, job costing. If it's a project, which is one-time kind of a thing, I'll do contract costing. All right? All this you are going to study while you will be studying as you proceed. Right? Techniques of costing, this you'll be studying with us. Right? Okay. So this is the first introduction to your CMA, which we discussed in the last class. I did not turn the pages of ICAI material because the most important takeaway from this particular portion of for the purpose of understanding costing was you to understand the difference between fixed and variable, how to divide fixed and variable, right? What is the purpose of cost accounting, right? Which we actually discussed it in the last class itself. Right? Today, you have actually seen what ICAI expects from you. So if I summarize this whole thing, right? This whole thing, if I summarize for you, what is the takeaway? The takeaway is why costing, right? So the purpose of costing is selling price identify karna, to cost control, to reduce cost, to take decisions. Identify cost or classify, right? So you can identify with respect to elements, with respect to functions, with respect to variability, with respect to controllability, right? To understand what is a cost object, what is it that you're costing for, what is the cost unit, right? Right. Then ICAI has talked about the various small things about costing, from implicit to explicit cost to imputed cost. So many things ICAI has actually tried to give in. Why do you need a good costing system, right? It talked about, besides a good costing system, it talked about the various methods in which you're going to do the costing. That will depend upon how good is being produced, right? So job costing or unit costing or process costing, or if it's a service, then service costing or operation costing. If you want to take up decision, what are the techniques of taking up costing, standard costing, uniform costing, or it could be your marginal cost. So this is all what is the takeaway from this particular chapter. Now I will look into anybody's query. But if you have, then we'll take a break of 10 minutes and then we shall produce. So good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning to all, good morning, right? Good morning. Till now, no doubts. Ma'am, the previous session not yet uploaded. Sarvana, honestly, I can't answer this question, but I can see my own lecture at YouTube. So if you actually go down to ICAI.ca2 and search for Anu Agarwal, you'll be able to look into my lecture of 25th October. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, I'm from Bhutan. Hi, Dorji. I really want to come and visit Bhutan. Last class was all awesome. Hope today as well. Ayush, that you need to tell me that it's going to be awesome or not. Right. On YouTube, class is faster than app. Naveen, this I do not know. Right. If it is running faster or slow, I do not. Ria, no notes have been posted. Thank you, Ria, for telling me. I will check it out. Right. Which they have already been provided. So I think they have not been uploaded. It will be done. But I hope everybody understands what's the meaning of notes. If I told you I require cost control and cost reduction, look at only one theory I emphasized. ICAI is given it. Right? So you may write it down. That from chapter number 1, the theory which Anu ma'am told that you need to know is difference between cost control and cost reduction. And that is printed in a very beautiful manner, in a very short manner in the ICAI. So you don't need to do anything, right? Let's say nothing else from chapter 1. Can I use a little bit of Hindi, Amar? Actually, Amar, I have been told not to use Hindi. Uh, but yes, I will try to use a little bit of Hindi wherever I can, but then it becomes difficult because the lectures are across, not only in India, but outside India. So still I will try. What's the weightage, ma'am? Theory and practical. But the weightage of theory and practical, if you actually talk about it, is, if I would say, around 80 marks of practical and 20 marks of theory. Theory which ICAI is giving is not the typical kind of theory. It is, just a second. It is, like as I said, cost control, cost reduction, or when you will be talking about normal and abnormal cost, or treatment of waste and scrap. I keep on telling you, from this is the place where ICAI needs theory. Okay. So you can easily gain marks. Organizational hierarchy means, for example, let's take up income tax hierarchy. So on the top it is Central Board of Direct Taxes, then there is Chief Commissioner, then there is Commissioner, then there is Assistant Commissioner. This is known as hierarchy. Similarly, in an organization, there would be the Managing Director, then there would be top management team, then middle management, then lower management. That's an organizational hierarchy. Aarti, while teaching, I keep on highlighting the important part. Like in this chapter, the important area for me is how to divide the expenses in fixed and variable. That's important for me. And what do you mean by cost reduction and cost control? I am repeating this so many times, so I think you should remember it, right? Cost incurrence means incurring of cost, right? If let's say I ate a sandwich, so I incur a cost, right? So that's how it is. Yes, cost driver is the reason of expense. Kushi, what kind of questions are asked? I repeated, I will not repeat this question from this particular chapter. Revenue center and profit center. Say, for example, I am making shoes. I have a factory from where shoes are being made, where shoes are being manufactured. That factory, I'm only manufacturing shoes. So that factory is a place where I'm only collecting costs. Now that's a cost center. But just imagine, from that place where I'm manufacturing shoes, I'm making a sale also. Then that sale is also happening from there, cost is also happening, that becomes a profit center. But if I was only manufacturing shoes at my factory, then I was selling my shoes from the showroom, then that showroom is a revenue center, right? Okay. Hi, Baba, you people keep on getting crazy about theory. How many times I tell you the same thing? Yes, Naveen, there is nobody at my place. There was a lot of doorbell happening. Ma'am, my voice is not clear. I do not know. Voice may break. I do not know. Okay. There's a disturbance in voice. I do not know. My voice is breaking, cracking, buffering. I don't know. Voice nahi clear hai. Azaz ji, please look into it. Voice is breaking. Sound problem. Okay. Yes, Sonu. Okay. So I hope no more doubts. So guys, my intention now, I hope you can understand, in the last class, I tried to interact on this particular topic, tried to explain each and everything. And today I was only concentrating on the study material, right? So I hope everything is clear. Limitations of cost accounting. Sandeep, of course, the biggest limitation of cost accounting is we are not taking up the qualitative aspects, which I told you, right? Which we take up in the management accounting, right? In a chemical transportation, shortage always happens. It's normal or abnormal. Naveen, it depends upon how much is normal as per, as I said, My acceptability level is 5% of the chemicals will waste. Now that's normal. If the wastage happens 7%, then that 2% is going to be abnormal. Right. High and low method once again. Okay. Okay. Let us say you are manufacturing 100 units and your total cost is 5,000. If you manufacture 200 units and your total cost is 5,400, then as per high and low method, difference in units is 100. Difference in cost is 400. So this is difference in cost. And this is difference in units. Yes, so this is 4 rupees per unit. Now, difference in cost can only happen because of variable cost. This is variable cost per unit. Yeah. Right. Okay. Whoever asked me, Radhika, right? Now, at 100 units, if my total cost is 5,000, variable cost is how much? 4 into 100. Yes, it is how much? 400. So what is my fixed cost? My fixed cost is 4,600. Yes. So at 200 units, my variable cost is going to be 200 into 4 is going to be 800. My fixed costs should remain 4,600. See, is the total still 5,400? Yes. This is high and low. Okay. So this was for Radhika. Voice is clear, voice is not clear, right? Yes, you'll be talking about different methods and techniques as you'll be progressing. If I teach you standard costing, then what will the teacher who will teach you standard costing? So that is only the terms which are being, right? Okay, I'm the best teacher. Thank you so much, right? You want to see my lecture of employee cost? I will be teaching, right? Chapter number 1, I don't think any marks for chapter number 1, except one theory question, cost reduction and cost control. That could be a question from this chapter number 1. And you should know how to divide fixed and variable cost, because this is not chapter number 1. We'll be requiring it throughout, right? Okay, guys, so we take a break of 10 minutes now. And after 10 minutes, we shall be talking about material costing. I'll be teaching you material costing, so stay tuned exactly after 10 minutes. So see you in 10 minutes. Bye. Thank you. Yes, shall we go live? Okay. So hi guys, hi students, we are back again. So till then, I looked into your question. I would not be teaching you sand costing, but I would be teaching you marginal. Please tell us about ICAI live coaching class. Is that sufficient for us? 100% Mohammed. If it would not have been, tell me Mohammed, can you reach up to Mumbai? Right, people come up to study first accounting. So what better can ICAI give you? Right. So obviously it is, and we are telling you read this, don't read this, study this. What more can you expect? Right. It's already given, Puneet. I will request ICI to upload the same. Right. So the when you say things of relating to ICI, please do not ask me these questions because I really do not know the machinery behind. I really can't answer those questions. Hmm. Thank you, Vedant. That's a huge compliment. Okay. Others, you want to know a profit center again? Okay, I'm hungry now, so I'm going to tell you. Let's say I'm making a samosa, right? You are a Mishra, so definitely you belong to UP side. So you're making a samosa. Now imagine the place where I'm making samosas. All my expenses are being accumulated. That's how I'm going to be costing my samosas. And I'm making a sale also from that place. Now that's a cost center as well as the revenue. So revenue minus cost is profit. That's why it's a profit. My voice is clear now. अभी भी clear नहीं है. Voice is breaking. Azaz ji, is my voice breaking still? What do I do now? If the voice is breaking, there is nothing. There's nobody at home also today. So I don't know. Should I take up different room? Maybe it can help. Headphones I don't use. Let me do one thing. Am I more clear now? I have closed the room. Am I more clear now? Azaz ji, am I more clear now? Right. Now no disturbance. So that's definitely not from my side. Like, okay. So should I continue teaching? Okay. 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 So guys, some kind of technical glitch. I think we are in the world of IT. I just now taught you about that how important IT is. So, okay. Now, guys, material costing. So I'm not going to use the text material now. I will be teaching you first, right? We had studied material costing last time. I've explained you certain concepts like ordering cost, storing cost, right? And I told you that purchase cost plus ordering cost plus storing cost. All this goes up to help me decide, because this in total is the inventory cost, and this helps me to talk about or helps me to take up a decision. Now, what kind of decision is expected from me? What is it that you expect? Right. Now, see, first of all, each one of us has to be very clear that there's a huge difference, right, between financial accounting and cost accounting, right? And now you can say management accounting. In management accounting, we are taking up qualitative aspects, which I gave you an example. Cost accounting, we are not looking at the qualitative aspects. And financial accounting, we are not there to take up decisions, right? In financial accounting, our whole purpose is, if there is a transaction, I need to record that transaction, then classify that transaction, and then represent it to the world, right? So when you do financial accounting, that is your regular accounting. What you guys are doing, you are classifying the transactions and then passing a journal entry, then making a ledger, then making a trial balance, and then making a final accounts. And ultimately, on the basis of those final accounts, the balance sheet which you are representing, people are able to take a call as to how this organization is. So financial accounting is on a different footing altogether. There, I am not there to advise my client that how much material you should buy, when you should buy, right? Is it a great idea to take a discount? Should you take discount? Should you not take discount? All this is not a prerogative of financial accounting. But cost accounting, as you can see, why am I studying cost accounting? I want to price a product. For the purpose of pricing a product, I need to know the cost of a product. For the purpose of costing of a product, we will see how the product is being produced, and I'm going to add up all the elements of cost and find out a cost of it. But if you remember, the purpose of cost accounting is also controlling and reducing. Now, what do you mean by controlling and reducing? Is I need to actually take up call with, I need to take decisions at each step. So first decision in respect of material would be how much material I should buy at one time. Now, why this decision needs to be taken? Why this decision needs to be taken? Voice is breaking, voice isn't clear. Can you check the sound system? But the sound system is absolutely perfect. I keep on taking classes on this only. Right? It is not audible, it's breaking. Is it clear? Slightly disturbed, Ria, but bearable. Oh, thank you so much. Sweet. Okay. Okay. Please, can you tell me now, is it fine? Okay. It's audible. Okay, fair enough. So now, as I said, material, how much I should buy, and that too, how much I should buy at one time. That's an important question. Now, why this question is relevant to me, right? I'm asking all of you first. Okay. Why do you think this question is relevant? That how much should I buy? Now, guys, today I will involve you. Next class, I will stick to the ICAI material. So tell me, why do you people think that I need to take up a decision how much material to buy at one time? Why do you think? Why at all are we studying about material costing? Answer me. Answer me. Anybody? But till the time you people are answering me, because I know it takes around 30 seconds of, there's a time lag involved, 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Guys, my reason for studying that how much I need to order at one point of time is, I need to first look into the suppliers from whom I buy my material. Yes? Where are the suppliers from? Right? Where are my suppliers from? Right? If they're very far off, right? I am sitting in X place and my suppliers are sitting in YZ AB place, and they're very far off. Then question number 1, how much quantity I should buy will depend upon how much time it takes for goods to reach for goods to reach me means my factory, right? And this is technically known as lead time. This is known as lead time. Lead time means the time the suppliers take for the goods to reach the factory of the person who's buying it. So if I am a person who is buying, who needs raw material, who's buying raw material, I need to be very, very particular that how much time that supplier will take. If I place an order today, how much time it will take for the supplier to send the goods. Now there could be a minimum time, there could be a maximum time. Now let's say there's a minimum time of 5 days, and sometimes it can go as bad as 10 days. Now, as a prudent person, what is it that I will never like to happen? So, first thing, as a prudent manufacturer, as a prudent businessman, businesswoman, I would never like to go out of stock. I would never like to go stock out. You know why? Because if I'm going out of stock, I'm not able to manufacture, I'm not able to deliver as and when my customers want, what is going to happen? Tell me what is going to happen. Tell me what is going to happen. What is going to happen? Right? What is going to happen? The biggest thing that is going to happen is my customers would be like, I go to Anu ma'am and she's always saying the good is not there. So I will start losing my customers here. And that could be, and I can actually calculate that loss, right? If people come up to me and I don't have the material to supply, then they will go up to somebody else. And if somebody else is better, the people will start buying from there. Or if they feel that, okay, no, Anu ma'am is the best, but still she's not having the material as and when we are wanting, the finished good as and when we are wanting, still the customers will shift. So getting stocked out is not a great idea, right? The business, manufacturing or production coming to a halt because of inventory not being there is not a great idea. Let me see what you people wrote. Shrishti wrote, because we don't have to have surplus stock at a time, it will increase many costs. So firstly, we'll have to analyze the demand and then accordingly we'll order. No, Shrishti, my question was not that how much quantity I need. Quantity I need definitely is a process which you are telling me, that I need to look into the demand. After looking at the demand, I need to define that how much I need to produce. I'm asking that, okay, if my annual requirement, Shrishti, if my annual requirement, let's say, is 200,000 kgs of raw material. My question to you guys is, this much of raw material I require annually. So my question to all of you is, how should I buy this 2 lakh kgs? Should I buy all of it together? Should I buy 20,000 kgs? Should I buy 10,000 kgs? How should I buy? Right? So I think none of you answered my question like that, right? To Shonuk, to ascertain the cost required for the purchase of the material. I am not talking about the purchase cost. Guys, before I start teaching, right? See, it's very easy. I can tell you this is the topic, this is it, do it. This is not the way I teach. For me, what is very important is whatever I'm teaching, are you getting beyond and understanding the topic? I am not talking about purchase cost. I'm not talking about it. I will talk about purchase cost if I will be talking about discount. If my supplier is giving me for 10 rupees, only if I buy in bulk, he's going to give me discount. I will be seeing for the purpose of taking up my decision. I will say, oh, this is it. I'm not talking about purchase cost. I am talking about how much to buy at one time. Right? Why? Because the quantity which I decide to buy one time will depend upon first factor. Factor number 1, how much time does it take for the supplier, once we place an order to him, that the goods reach us, right? That's one thing. That's technically known as lead time. So I'll be using the word lead time. So my first methodology of how much to buy, how much to keep a stock will depend upon the lead time, right? I may keep a higher stock of inventory or a lower stock of inventory depending on the lead time, right? Okay, if my lead time is of 15 days, it takes 15 days for the goods to reach me, then definitely, guys, I always need to have a stock of 15 days with me, yes or no? Yes, because once I place an order, it takes 15 days for goods to reach me. So how much stock I need to maintain will definitely depend upon the lead time. I should maintain what is the maximum I should stock, what is the minimum I should stock. That will depend, that I'll be teaching. But how much to buy at one time will depend upon two things which I taught you last time: the ordering cost and the carrying cost, right? I told you every time I place an order, there is an expenditure, right? In the form of transportation, in the form of insurance, in the form of toll naka tax, right? Similarly, whatever quantity I buy, I need to store it, right? Right? So there's a storing cost in that. And last time I explained to you that storing cost means a warehouse rent. It means keeping my material safe. It means that when I buy raw material, I put my money, that money becomes blocked. If that money I would have taken a loan, then there is an interest involved, right? So all this is storing cost. So I need to trade off. Between these two costs, the ordering cost and the carrying cost, which are opposite costs. Why they are opposite? I'll tell you. Now let us say I require 200,000 kgs annually. This is an example. Say for example, I require 200,000 kgs annually. Now let us say Vishakha decides that, ma'am, I'll buy 20,000 kgs. That means how many orders, number of orders which Vishakha places? Number of orders which Vishakha will place will be 200,000 kgs divided by each time she's placing an order of 20,000. So 10 orders. Yes. Now, every time she places an order, there is an expenditure in the form of transportation and insurance of 1,000. So what is her ordering cost? It is 10 into 1,000. She's incurring 10,000. Right? Now, second thing. This is what Vishakha incurs. Vishakha, right? This is what you incur if you buy 20,000 kgs. Right? Now, let me look at the question so that I don't keep unnecessary material. Okay, Preeti, Renu, Menkri store. Okay. Okay. Wonderful, Ria. 10 orders. Wonderful, Sandeep. So you understand what Vishakha will be doing. Now, Sandeep, if you were there, you decided I will buy 5,000 kgs. So Sandeep, how many orders you will place? You are also in the, I'm assuming if you are the manager, this is how you want to place an order. If Vishakha is the manager, she will place. So if Sandeep orders, how many number of orders Sandeep will have to do? 40. Yes, correct? 40 orders? Yes. Now look at it. Vishakha is the manager of that organization. Vishakha believes that she should order 20,000 kgs. So number of orders she places is 10 times. So her expenditure is 1,000. But madly, Sandeep, if he's the manager, he believes that he should order 5,000 kgs. So how many orders he has to place? He will place at least 40 orders in a year. Every time he'll place 5,000, then again 5,000. So the whole year he'll keep on ordering, right? How many times he will order? 40. If I assume there are 360 days in a year, right? I'm writing here. If there are 360 days in a year, Vishakha orders 10 times. That means after every 36th day, Vishakha will order. But as far as Sandeep is concerned, after how many days he will order? 360 divided by 40. After how many days he'll be ordering? Look at it. 360 divided by 40. Give me the answer, please. Sandeep is ordering he's ordering 40 orders. Tell me. Yes, everybody has answered me 40. Tell me how many orders, after how many days he'll be ordering? 9 point something? Yes or no? Till the time my mobile is sitting on, right, and I get my calculator. So technically Sandeep is ordering after every 9th day. Right? He's ordering after every 9th day. Yes? On the other hand, Vishakha is ordering after every 36 days. So I hope you are able to get a link. Now I'll tell you the next aspect. Okay. Now the question is, who's right, who's wrong? This is not what I'm discussing. I'm discussing if Vishakha buys 20,000 kgs, her ordering cost is only 10,000. Sandeep orders 5,000 kgs. His ordering cost is 40,000 rupees. Absolutely perfect. So now you people are paying attention. Wonderful. I'm happy. Okay. Now, so this is Vishakha and this is Sandeep. Right? Okay. Now, Sandeep, you have ordered 5,000 units at one time. Right? Now, please, this is to be imagined. Huh? So please imagine, Sandeep, when we buy units, we don't put all those units into production process. Yes or no? We buy the units, some go into production. Now, by the time 50%, now that 50% is an assumption, right? Real life, it can be by the time 60%. Now, that depends upon the lead time, right? But technically, what we are going to study is economic order quantity, EOQ. There we assume, I am repeating, assume. So don't ask me again. I assume that whatever quantity I purchase at one time, half of it I will have to carry. Now, why did I say I have to carry? Because I won't wait for my 5,000 kgs to get over and then place an order. Logical? You tell me. Because once 5,000 kgs are over and then I place an order, there is a lead time involved. Yes or no? Everybody. There's a lead time involved. So what will I do in that lead time? I'll be out of stock. And I can't afford to be out of stock. So please remember, I will never wait for that whole 5,000 kgs to get over. Now, if you want to understand this, please talk to your mothers. Each one of you today should talk to your mothers. Your mothers are always having... Did you people ever think that how never sugar is getting over, coffee is never getting over, milk is always there? How? Right? If you say, ma'am, I drink 1 glass of milk, my brother drinks 1 glass of milk, and then 2 times tea is made, so 1 liter of milk is more than enough. Right? But you see, your mother is never ordering 1 liter. She would always be ordering 1.5 or 1.25 liters, depending on the requirement. She will be always ordering more. Why? Because she doesn't wait that, okay, this 1 liter is over, then she'll wait. Next day when the milk will come, then she will give milk. If in the night anybody wants to have tea, then what will happen? Milk is over. That's not a great idea. So please understand this concept from your moms, nobody else. If in your house you require 1 kg of sugar, you see mama will order for like little more sugar, right? Why? Because once this 1 kg is over, she still has little more and she has the time to go and buy. And nowadays we don't go and buy, we just order on the phone. So even ordering on the phone until the time sugar comes to my place is 1 day. Mummy does have a stock of 1 day with her. And every time she's ordering little more. Why? Her usage is only 1 kgs, but she's ordering that little more, and that little more is used next time, then she orders more, then it is used. So if you actually look at it, whatever you buy, half of it, you're always carrying, because the moment half of it is over, you again place an order. By the time that's over, again you place an order. That means you replenish or you rebuy, you replenish your stock so that you don't go out of stock. This is an assumption that whatever quantity you buy, half of it you always carry. Everybody clear? Everybody will be clear. Wonderful. Always have reserves. Yes or no? Ria, why did you took 360? There are 365 days in a year now. So just to round it off, I took 360 days a year. Right? In a year, there are 360 days, 365 days now. Okay. Inderpal, ma'am, ध्यान मम्मा ध्यान रखती है. इंद्रपाल, बिल्कुल सही बोला जी आपने. मम्मी ध्यान रखती है और ये देखती है कि कभी भी ऐसा ना हो कि घर पे सामान ना हो. Now you have to see this in the industry, Indrapal, right? So wonderful, right? So is everybody clear that we need to keep half of it? Now let us say my storing cost per annum. Now, please remember, I need to take per annum. I can't take it per month. Why I can't take up per month? Because you place an order. By the time half of it is used, you again place an order. So throughout the year, if you realize, Sandeep will keep on carrying 2,500 kgs with him, right? So the storing cost per month, if it is given in the exam, please multiply it by 12 to make it per annum. Do not do this mistake. I need storing cost per annum, per unit. Yes. So let's say storing cost per annum per unit is ₹5. So how much Sandeep will incur as far as storing cost is concerned? 2,500 into 5. How much is it? 12,500. Yes. Now look at it. Ordering cost of Sandeep was 40,000. Storing cost of Sandeep is 12,500. So besides the purchase cost, Sandeep is incurring these expenses. Yes or no? Yes. Wonderful. If you are all are clear. Yes, Tanu, you have to apply common sense. That's wonderful. Okay, so everybody clear? Thank you. Madhli, which was your doubt? Did I miss your doubt, Madhli? I'm sorry, there are so many messages coming up. Can you write your doubt again? Right? Can you write your doubt again, Madhli? If I think I missed out on your doubt. Right? Okay. Now, let's go to what Vishakha. Vishakha was buying 20,000 kgs at one day. So she will be carrying 10,000. Yes or no? Now her storing cost would be 10,000 into 5. Her ordering cost was 1,000. Yes or no? So Vishakha buys 20,000. Her storing cost is high. Her ordering cost was less because her number of orders was less. Yes. So I hope all of us after the end of this are very, very clear. Thank you so much, Banshi. Right. So can I draw a crux of this, that ordering cost and storing cost are opposite costs? Can I draw a crux of this? Can I draw a crux? That if my ordering cost will be low, my storing cost will be high. If my storing cost will be low, my ordering cost will be high. And you saw this with the example of your friends Sandeep and Vishakha. Vishakha ordered more kgs, so her ordering cost was less because her number of orders was less, but her storing cost was very high. On the other hand, Sandeep, he ordered lesser quantity, so his number of orders were very high. So his ordering cost was very high, but his storing cost was less. So these are opposite costs. Now the biggest problem is we saw that definitely Vishakha's total cost was 51,000 and Sandeep's total cost was 52,500. But can we work up to some optimum solution? Can we work up to some optimum solution? That is there any quantity which I should buy wherein this ordering and carrying cost will be the lowest? But before I understand the concept that what will be that point, don't we understand this thing that when if two things are opposite, the point at which they meet or the point at which they are equal, that's the optimum, yes or no? This concept, we have studied it in economics. How many of you understand? Yes, Vedant, हम industry की मम्मी हैं. जल्दी बताओ. So I've asked my question. Yes, Anugraha, I am getting your answers. Whole thing is there's so many questions coming up at one go that I'm not able to take up your name and say that, yes, I have received your answer. Vinay, why did I divide by 2? Because I told you the concept that it is assumed, right? That whatever quantity I buy at one time, by the time half of it is finished, I buy again, right? Yes, Vinay, I got your query. Madhli, can you, Madhli, I do not know, I have lost her. Ramakrishna, I hope, now please tell me, has everybody understood why are we dividing it by 2? Yes, they are inversely related, they are opposite. Yes, so first of all, yes, Anugrah, there should be the point at which they are equal is a point where they are lowest. So is everybody clear with this? Madhli, can you write your doubt again? I can't see your name. So I really don't know where your doubt is. Let me go back and see if I can see. Anugrah, yes, ma'am, storing cost will be higher. Absolutely, you're answering correctly, Anugrah. So I hope I'm pronouncing your name. Your name has my name, Anu. Okay, so can I call you Anu? Okay. Madhli, I can't see any of your query here, darling. I can't see Madhli. Madhli, can you write your query again? Yes, Madhli. How we got 1,000? I saw this now. How we got 1,000? Okay, Madhli. Madhli, Vishakha was placing an order of 20,000 kgs at one go. My total annual requirement was 200,000 kgs. So, how many orders does Vishakha needs to place? She needs to place 200,000 divided by 20,000. 10. Yes, Madhli? So she needs to place 10 orders. And then I said, for each time you order, you incur 1,000 rupees. Yes? So each time you incur, order, you incur 1,000 rupees. So it will be 1,000 into 10, 10,000. There must be a typing error. That's why you asked me, because instead of writing 10,000, I wrote 1,000. So Madhli, that was, while writing, I did not write 10,000. I forgot to multiply. Okay. So I hope, Madhli, your query is answered. Okay, this was your query. Okay. Now, okay. So no other things. The point is called as break-even point. No Dubey, no Sunil. I won't call it break-even point. Right. Break-even point, yes, the point at which no profit, no loss. Here I'm not talking about break-even point. Here I'm talking about if there are two opposite things, like you do in demand supply. If supply is like this, demand is like this, then this is known as the equilibrium price. This is an equilibrium price. Why? Because consumer always wants to buy cheap, supplier always wants to make maximum profit, but there is going to be a price at which both buyer and seller are happy, and that's an equilibrium price. But the important thing is, this is a point where both the things are equal. So my intention of telling you is that if ordering cost, this is ordering cost, right? If ordering cost keeps on increasing, the storage cost keeps on decreasing. Yes. So the point at which it meets, right, is a point at which they are equal. The point at which they will be equal is going to be a point which will be considered to be optimum. Or I should say that will be the point at which I can say that if I buy in that quantity, my ordering and storing cost will be equal, and that will be the point my inventory cost will become lowest, right? Okay. Madhli, my name is Ruchita, and house Sandeep storing cost is 5. Ruchita, okay, your name is Ruchita. Okay, so Ruchita, I assume that the storing cost per unit per annum is ₹5. Okay, so Ruchita, I assumed storing cost is ₹5 per unit per annum. I wrote it there. Okay, right. Tanu, because we are using half now. Perfect. So everybody is clear with half, right? Okay. Manoj, how did you get 20 orders, beta? Okay, I'll take one more sum. Okay, so I hope now this particular point is very, very clear. Now, once this point was clear, there was a gentleman who gave us that don't be worried. You don't have to worry. That is Sandeep correct or is Vishaka correct? They said, put your information in this particular formula and they said we will be able to tell you that what is the point at which if you buy that quantity, your inventory cost is going to be the lowest, granted no discounts. I repeat my lines. They said assume no discounts. Then if you're going to buy in this quantity, then the full form of this is economic order quantity. Why the name is economic? Because they say if you buy quantity in this batch size or in this order size, your ordering cost and your carrying cost will be the lowest. Now, what does O stands for? It is the ordering cost per order. Please write it down. In Mumbai, I teach students by saying, Do Andheri Oshiwara station or Ek church gate. This is, I make them remember by the stations. Mumbai is famous about, stations. Everybody travels in trains. But since I'm dealing with everybody across, you can remember it anyhow, whatever way you want to remember. AO divided by C. So O is ordering cost per order and C is carrying cost, or you can say storing cost per unit per annum. This is the thing which is very important for me. Per unit per annum. And this A stands for my annual requirement. A stands for my annual requirement. Okay. Moksh, ma'am, the storing cost of Vishakha will be 10,000. Yes. Okay. Now, right. Okay. So, everybody clear? So, EOQ is economic order quantity. Why is the name economic order quantity? Because at this, if you buy in this order size, economic order quantity is the order size, the quantity which you should order at one time, so that your ordering cost and your carrying cost becomes lowest. And how will it become lowest? If they're going to be equal, right? That means at EOQ, I can write it. All of you can write this. At EOQ, ordering cost will be equivalent to the storing cost. This is something which you need to remember. At EOQ, ordering cost will be equivalent to the storing cost. And if there are no discounts, this is the optimum. This is the point at which your inventory cost will be the lowest. Yes. Nukesh, yes, your queries definitely are reaching me, but as I said, lots and lots of messages coming at one go, right? Yes, this is root, right? Manshika, this is root. 2AO divided by C whole root, right? Okay. Okay. Lukesh, what was your query? If I have missed it out, please you can write it again. Right. Ma'am, why per unit per annum? Right. Shubho per unit per annum. Reason number one, I am carrying the inventory, or I'm carrying the unit not for a month or for a day. I'm carrying the inventory for the whole year. So if I want to do the calculations, I need to find out, I can only apply if I take up the per unit, right? If in the examination I give you storing cost per month is 1 rupee. Now, I don't store the material for a month because I place an order. The moment it is used, half of it, I again place an order. That means half of the quantity I'm carrying throughout the year. So I need the storing cost per year, right? Yes, Naveen. If discount, I'm assuming if discount is not there, then this is the best. Now, if discount is given, then should I buy in EOQ or not? I will take up the call, right? Vedant, you're from Mumbai. Sunil, yes, I can read your names, right? What was your query? If I've missed out on your query, you can put it, right? Everything is clear, wonderful, right? Now I'll not proceed till the time you people tell me your queries. Otherwise, beach mein, you give me the things and I'm like, oh, did I miss out on your query? Okay. So now let us understand. I'll give you a hypothetical question. You're going to solve it for me, right? So EOQ is 2AO divided by C whole root, right? Okay. Okay. So Mohammed, EOQ is the quantity at which my ordering cost, right? Mohammed, at EOQ, at this point, my ordering cost will be equivalent to my storing cost. And we just now studied that this will be the point where things will be optimum, right? Because when there are two opposite things, when they become equal, that will be the lowest, right? Ma'am, why we multiplied only half of stock of storing cost? Lukesh, I told you it's an assumption, right? In real life, if you are told that 40% of the stock, 60% goes into production, and by the time 60% is over and you place an order, then it will be 40%. But for applying this EOQ formula, it's an assumption that 50% of material, once it is used, you place an order again. So it's an assumption, Lokesh. That's why. Ma'am, is it to give discount when purchase? Abhi, I am coming up to that. MOPA. Ma'am, why storage cost curve downward sloping? Okay, MOPA. If my annual requirement is 2 lakh kgs, if I order 10,000 kgs, if I order 20,000 kgs, if I order 5,000 kgs, if I order 50,000 kgs. Yes? What will be the number of orders? Number of orders would be 20. Here number of orders would be 10. Here number of orders will be 40. Here number of orders will be 4. Right? So if I talk about ordering cost at the rate of 1,000, it is going to be 20,000 here. It is going to be 10,000 here. It's going to be 40,000 here. Yes. It is going to be 4,000. Yes. If storing cost was 5 rupees per unit, I assumed whatever quantity I buy, half of it I'll carry. That 5,000 into 5, 25,000. 20,000 divided by 2, 10,000. 10,000 into 5, 50,000. Yes. 5,000 divided by 2, 2,500 into 5, 12,500. 50,000 divided by 2, 25,000 into 5, 25,000. Yes. Mopa, have I given you various situations? Draw a graph. If you draw the graph of ordering cost. 4,000, I'm just making it up. 10,000, 20,000, 40,000. This is an arbitrary graph. Look at it. Ordering cost. Yes. So if you ordered where the ordering cost is the lowest, at 50,000. At 50,000 units, your ordering cost is the lowest. Then at 20,000 units, it's 10,000. Then at 10,000. So as you keep on increasing the order size, right, your ordering cost keeps on falling, right? Or you can say your ordering cost increases as you keep on increasing the units. So if your ordering cost keeps on falling, if your number of units keeps on, your order size keeps on increasing. So if your order size is 50,000, say, imagine this is 50,000. Just a second. So Mopa, if this is 50,000 units, your ordering cost will be the lowest. Yes, it is going to be 4,000. As you keep on producing, look at it, your ordering cost will keep on falling. Yes. So your ordering cost keeps on falling. Right. Similarly, if you can do it for storing cost, it will be opposite. Right. More units you keep on buying, the storage cost will keep on increasing. Yes. So there, when I was drawing, I was just trying to put in the two things, right? Please try to take up the crux of it. Certain times while drawing, while writing, instead of ordering, if I wrote storing, but when I'm explaining, try to pay more attention to that. I hope I'm clear. Yes, Mopia. So storing cost will keep on increasing with the units which I keep on, if I keep on buying more units at one time. So if I plot these two, this is the equilibrium point. So have I answered your question? Thank you. Okay. Next, are you getting my reply previously? Darsh, I do not know. Where did you reply? There's so many messages coming up. Can you please tell me the formula in your way, as I'm out of Mumbai, so I'll remember always. Sunil, nothing else. As far as to remember the formula is concerned, you can remember it in any way, right? So for remembering the formula, 2AOC, you can make any mnemonic which makes you happier, right? So on a YouTube, I would not like to use any mnemonic, right? So please do it your way, learn it your way. Okay. Now I'm giving an example. Okay. So I hope, is it clear? Right? Okay. Mopia. Okay. Now, so have you understood Mopia? Okay. Shivam, why did I divide by 2? Now you tell me, why did I divide by 2? I'm not answering. Absolutely, Dorji, I can see you are absolutely right. Shivam, you tell me, why did I divide by 2? No, I'm not answering. Lakshmi, yes, reorder quantity and EOQ is same. Sandeep, ma'am, why did we take 1,000 in ordering cost? I assumed that for per order, your ordering cost is 1,000. Sandeep, I assumed. Okay. Vedant, AGCU मुझे बताओ BCG. ये क्या लिखा है? I don't understand. Vedant, what have you written? I don't understand. What have you written? Okay, please write it in English. Okay. AGCU, I didn't understand. Okay. Okay. So can I take up a question, please? If everybody is now very clear that what is it? C means carrying cost per unit per annum. Okay. Okay, Naveen, you can remember that. Always order. Okay. Quick reference link with all the formula. Yeah. Guys, grow out of it. Gajala, yes, we only use half. It's an assumption. Thank you. Tulas, what do you want to be included in notes? Guys, notes means I will not be asking you all this. In the exam, I will not be asking you that why ordering and carrying cost should be equal. I'll be directly giving you a sum. Tulasi, ma'am, ordering cost and storing cost will decrease or increase with change in units. Absolutely. It will depend upon the order size. The ordering cost depends upon the order size, number of orders. And carrying cost depends upon how many units you carry. In the PAL, to avoid stockout situation. Thank you, Gunjan. I can only give questions if people stop asking me the same question again and again. From where the formula came from means the derivation. Shiv, this is an arithmetical formula. For that, we need a separate class. That's not a part of your syllabus. That how did that formula derive? I told you the logic behind the formula, which you need to understand. Ria, because we assume 50% of, yes, absolutely correct, Shabana. Ria, Shabana, it is an assumption, absolutely correct. Yes, please catch phrase for Domula. Catch case phrase for. So Vedant आपके लिए एक formula दे दिया उन्होंने, apply, always apply order. Yes, absolutely correct, Sarvana. Nirja, assumption that you are correct, clear. Okay, Manisha, that is fine. Okay, so can I now just solve, right? So Shiv Sharma, the derivation of EOQ, we'll have to have a separate lecture that how this formula is derived, right? That's not what is expected from you in ICAI. I told you the reason behind it, right? Okay. Now, coming up to a question. So all of you take up a question. Say, for example, an organization annually produces and sells 10,000 units. And for each unit, you require 5 kgs. Ordering cost, let's say, is rupees 300 per order. Storage cost, let's say, is 20 paisa per month per unit. This is the information we have given. An organization annually produces and sells 10,000 units. For each unit of production, you require 5 kgs. Every time you place an order, you have to spend some 300 rupees. And storage cost is 20 paisa per month per unit. Now, please read it correctly, read the question, so that when I solve, please do not ask me the same question again and again. right? Please do not, so read the question, all of you. Okay. Okay. I try to make the paper as practical as possible. So I give you on the spot questions. So please. Okay. Now. Okay, Shubho, yes, absolutely. Mohammed, is normal kisses in transit how to make order? If normal losses in transit, how to make order? Mohammed, normal losses in the quantity will be considered. If I say that 5 kgs are required, right? And I know that if for 10,000 units, 5 kgs are required, so my annual requirement will be 10,000 into 5, 50,000. And I know that when I place an order and while goods are coming in, 5 units get lost. Then accordingly, you will increase the order accordingly by that 5 kgs. Right, Mohammed? Okay. Ma'am, storage costs vary based on a fine. Let's do questions, solve some illustration. Thank you, Tanu. First, let me do this question. Shivam, what do you want me to explain again? I'm taking up an example. Thank you. Jay, yes, queries are reaching up to me. Right. Shivam, what was your query? Please explain again. What was it that you want me to explain again? I have just read, please explain again. But what is it that you want me to explain again? I don't know. Okay, now can we do this sum? Right? Can we do this sum? Okay. So let us first calculate EOQ. For EOQ, so what is my annual requirement? What is my annual requirement? If I produce 10,000 units and every time I require 5 kgs for 1 unit, that means my annual requirement is 50,000 kgs of raw material. Yes. What is my ordering cost? 300 per order. What is my carrying cost? It is 20 paisa per month. So I need to multiply it by 12 to get per year. So it will be how much? It will be how much? Yes. Shivam, what is your query? Write your query. Okay. Gunjan, we are doing that. Okay. So, annual requirement is 50,000 kgs. Ordering cost is 300 per order. Carrying cost, I did not do 20 paisa because it was per month. I did it. I multiplied by 12 to get it per annum. Okay. So, what is my EOQ? 2 into 50,000 into 300 divided by 2.4. So what is the EOQ? Can you please tell me the answer? Can you please tell me the answer? 2 into 50,000 into 300 divided by 2.4. Can you tell me what is it? Can you tell me what is it? May I have the answer, please? Please tell me the answer for this EOQ. I do it myself. EOQ, how did you get as 2,500? How did you get it as 2,500? Carrying cost is 12 per kg per annum. How? It was 20 paisa per unit. It is 2.4. Yes. So, yes, Anuradha. So it is 3, 5, 3, 5. Can I just make it 3535.33? This is my ordering cost. Absolutely correct. Dorji, Ravi, Vandana, perfect. Yes, 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 yes. Now, let us try to find out the inventory cost. What is the purchase cost? I did not give you. Assume purchase cost is 10 rupees per unit. So if you annually require 50,000 units into 10, how much is it? 5 lakh rupees. What will be your ordering cost if you buy an EOQ? 50,000 divided by 3535.33. How much do you get? How many orders do you get? 50,000 divided by 3535.33. 14.14 orders. What was the cost per order? 300. So what is my total ordering cost? 42.8. What will be my storing cost? If I'm buying 3535.33 units, half of it I'll carry and I'll multiply it by the ordering cost per unit. How much is it? 3535.33 divided by 2 is 1767.65 into 2.4. It comes out to be 4242.396. So can we just round it off? Can we just round it off? Yes. That means if I buy an EOQ, my ordering cost and my storing cost is going to be 8484. Absolutely correct. Yes. EOQ is right, Ganesh, Naveen, everybody. Yes. Right. Ma'am, why C is per unit instead of per kg? Arey Baba, that per unit means per kg only. That per unit means per kg only, Shubhang. I'm talking about raw materials. So when I'm not talking about per unit, I'm not talking about the units produced. Here I'm talking about raw materials. This 2.4 is per kg. Yes, Shubhang? Okay. Now, everybody clear? Yes, you've given me the right answers. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yes. So has everybody understood that at EOQ, ordering and storing cost is going to be the least? Now, if I actually look at it, my total cost is going to be 5 lakh plus 8484 is going to be 5 lakh 8,484 if I buy at EOQ. Now let's say I'm rubbing my board. If Mr. X decides to buy 2,000 units, what will be the impact? The purchase cost will remain the same as 5 lakh. But what will be the ordering cost? Ordering cost would be 50,000 divided by 2,000 kgs. So how many orders will be there? How many orders will be there? 50,000 divided by 2,000. Right? It will be 25 orders. Yes? So 25 into 300. Your ordering cost will be 7,500. What will be your carrying cost? What will be your carrying cost? 2000 divided by 2 into 2.4 per kg. Yes. How much is it? 24,000. So if you decide to buy into 2000 kgs, look at it. The total of this is how much? Yes. So your inventory cost is going to be higher. Yes. Okay. If I decide to buy 5,000 kgs, let's see the impact. Purchase cost will remain the same as 5 lakhs. Ordering cost will be how much? 50,000 divided by 5,000. 10 orders, yes? 10 orders into 300. This is 3,000. What will be my storing cost? Storing cost is going to be 5,000 divided by 2 into 2.4. How much does this turn out to be? See, the total of this is also more than EOQ. It is coming out to be 9,000. It was 8,424. Right? You buy 10,000 units. Again, purchase cost will be 5 lakhs only. Your ordering cost will be how much? 50,000 divided by 10,000. Number of orders is going to be 5. Your storing cost is going to be how much? So what is it that I'm trying to tell you? If there are no discounts, right, then guys, economic order quantity, your ordering and carrying cost is the lowest. And if your ordering and carrying cost is the lowest, your inventory cost will be the lowest. So to sum up my session for today, we understood what is economic order quantity, what is the meaning of ordering cost, what is the meaning of carrying cost, why do we take storing cost, whatever units I buy, why do I take half of it? Because we assume that always half of it is what we are carrying. Yes, storing cost is always per kg because it is a raw material buying which we are talking about. At EOQ, my purchase cost, my inventory cost is the lowest because my ordering and carrying costs are equal. If I buy anything in any other way, my material inventory cost is going to be the highest. So guys, in my next class, I will be taking up the ICAI material. I will be taking up the sums of ICAI material, and I'll be talking about few more things, that is minimum level, maximum level, reorder level. So today from my side, no more doubts. Everybody's answering the questions only. Perfect. You are answering correctly. That means all of you have understood, right? So this is all from my side. I just require one thing from all of you. Please look into the ICAI study material and try to read the part of it, the theoretical part of it, wherein we are discussing about how does material comes, which I discussed it in the last class. No, material raising an invoice and all that. Institute is telling you that. Important part for me is EOQ, so I'll be taking it up from the EOQ. I'll be taking up questions from EOQ. So please read all the theory. If there's anything which you want to ask me from that theoretical part, you can ask me tomorrow. It doesn't come in the paper because that's only for explanation part, the material requisition forms and all that stuff. So please read it. We'll be concentrating more on solving questions in our next class of material costing, right? So that's all from my side. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you. Right. So today's homework is, Sairam, read material costing, the chapter of material costing. Read the theoretical part. Thank you, Mohammed. I am an excellent teacher because you pay attention to it. What do you want, Sunil? Please write down very clearly what is it. I will read it and tell you in the next class. Right. Again, you are writing only one line, Sunil. Right. Can you explain it again? What is it that you want me to explain again? Repeat discretionary cost. Discretionary cost means costs which cannot be related. Say, for example, I incur a material cost. I can say if I incur 1 kg, I'll be able to produce 1 unit. I can directly establish a relationship. Discretionary cost. It is not essential for me that I incur expenditure on advertisements. Yes. Anu Agarwal, I may not advertise about myself, put up a hoarding. If people like my teaching, even without my advertisements, people keep on pouring from, I don't know from where sides to even to hear my lecture, try to study from me. So advertisement does not have a direct relationship to the output. So I say it's a discretionary expense, right? You may do it or you may not do it. Okay, thank you so much. Inderpal, for that you need to ask all your friends who are attending the session. Thank you, Tulsi. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, Azaz ji. The session is concluded.